to the Heaven Hugs YouTube channel. I'm Mandy. I told a friend this week I would show some of my fails, or part of the process pieces. There's sometimes in everything, in life and also in resin art, that it doesn't look like it's ever going to work out and you almost want to throw in the towel. So I did want to show a couple of my pieces because sometimes people say things like, everything you make is amazing, and I'm like, you didn't see this one and you don't know about this guy over here. So I'm just going to show you part of the process. This guy's life, who's one of my friends, he does a lot of tricks on pogo sticks. He's amazing. And so his brother made a documentary about his life, and that made me so happy. So I made them light bulbs, and I made myself this little jar, and that was back when I measured my epoxy resin by volume and not by weight. And so a lot of the times things would turn out gooey, and it's still gooey to this day. I probably shouldn't be touching it. And then this one, I almost caught the house on fire with this one. I mixed up a giant batch of epoxy resin, and I didn't know you couldn't do that. And so it hardened. It should take epoxy resin at least 24 hours to harden. It took this one about 20 minutes because of my ignorance. And it started smoking, and it was very scary. But, and there's a lot of bubbles because it cured too fast and just not quite right. But that calla lily flower is one that Justin made for me, and I wanted to keep it in a special place, so I thought I'd put it in a light bulb. This, I put a slide that belongs to Justin's grandparents. I converted their slides into a slideshow, so now it's on YouTube, and that way everyone can see it, and they can enjoy it whenever they want to. But I took one of the slides and I put it just in a block of epoxy resin so that you could shine your phone light through and it would project the image onto the wall or whatever. But this was before I found out that epoxy resin has to be in a warm environment, otherwise it won't harden correctly, and it's going to have a whole lot of bubbles in it. So this hardened, but it has a ton of bubbles, and I didn't realize heat was so necessary for the epoxy resin. An entire cup of Masters Checkers chess pieces fails. This was gonna be an azalea flower. Oh, and this is actually, I had pressed a 4-leaf clover and I put it into a necklace charm, and I wanted to put white behind it and some gold accents kind of throughout, and the gold just totally took over everything, and you cannot even tell that there's a 4-leaf clover in there. This is another failed piece. I was trying to make a beautiful Rachel's Gift logo geode situation, and number one, I actually put some lights behind it so that I could turn it on and off and be like a cute little night light. And then the epoxy resin ran down my wire and made it to where you could never turn it on or off. And then I got carried away with gold flecks and too much color. So now I call it the Nanny Named Fran because it's so loud. Every time I look at that, it's like, nah, Mr. Sheffield. So the part of the process and the fails and things like that reminded me of our butterflies. We hatch butterflies almost every year. We get the little kits, so we get them when they're not an egg. They come a caterpillar, a tiny little caterpillar, and then the caterpillar makes a chrysalis, and then it turns into a butterfly. And watching that happen is really cool, except nobody tells you how gross it is when they're making their chrysalises. It's something of nightmares. Like, the caterpillars come, these teeny tiny cute little caterpillars just, inching around in this jar, and then the more they grow, they make like this web stuff everywhere, and then they build their chrysalis, and it just gets so gross. The jar ends up looking so gross. And then when they're coming out of their chrysalis, they literally drip things that looks like blood. It literally looks like a bloody mess when you're hatching butterflies, but it's part of the process. So this past time, it got so messy, I almost gave up. I even called the butterfly place and I was like, look, something's wrong this time. And they were like, have faith, it's just part of the process. So we did, and thankfully our butterflies are hatching beautifully, and we are going to go to very special gardens and release them. And if you're in a spot right now in life where it looks too messy, too tough, and you want to throw in the towel, don't. Hang in there. It's just part of the process.